All right, here we are. I'm back again. I'm excited for this one. We're gonna start building this today. It's the Astrea Type F. It's a P-Bandai kit. The box is so big, I can't even fit it in the camera frame. If you like your Gundams with guns and beam weapons, this is probably the one for you. In addition, let me move this out of the way real quick. I also have this, which is the Avalanche unit to go with it. I believe I haven't built the Astrea Avalanche unit. I believe this is the same. It's just a recolored version of it. So we're going to do this one as well, but I'll put this off to the side because we're going to do it after finishing the main mobile suit. And because I didn't have any time ahead of time to prep for this one, we're actually just going to unbox this thing entirely, including taking the runners out of the bags. Normally I would do this ahead of time. I did not have time to do that this time. So let me adjust the audio level just a little bit. All right, that should be better. Okay, so lots of red plastic is what I'm expecting out of this one. And I'm going to try to open these bags in such a way that I don't make too much noise for the microphone. However, it's going to be unavoidable to some extent. So here we go. Our multicolored A runner looks like it's got, besides the clear green that we would expect with a 00 kit, it's got some of this main color of red. I assume this is going to be the main red for the kit. It's coming out very red on camera. It's slightly, I would say slightly bluish, or sort of almost a little bit pinkish in person. And then there's this nice dark deep red as well. So, and then here's one of our new runners, I believe. Yeah, this is the W1 runner. Some of our big pieces for the weapons. I'm going to set this off to the side for the moment. And I'm just going to toss bags on the floor. All right, here is a U1 runner. So this is one of the new ones, or specific ones for the Astrea. This C runner is probably just what we would have gotten, yeah, with Astrea. So it's got leg armor parts, knees, yeah, so mostly legs, and then a bit for the shield. So this would have been molded in the white color for the regular Astrea. I'm gonna move beam sabers out of the way. We're not gonna need those for a long time. The inner frame of this one looks like it's in this interesting kind of tannish gray color. These are actually two different colors. Here's polycaps. Yeah, so this tannish color, I don't know if you can see the difference there. Yeah, you kind of can. This is definitely more grayish, the one in my right hand here. So this is the V runner. Looks like it's the back side of the shield and then some skirt armor inner frame parts and such. And then I believe that the majority of the inner frame is going to be in this sort of tannish color, which is interesting. I've never seen that before as a color choice for an inner frame. All right, there's some handguns, pistols. I'm not sure. They look very similar to what we got in the Dynamis, the Master Grade Dynamis. They probably are the same. Here's our T runner. It's a multicolored runner, specifically for the Astrea, looks like. And then U2, which goes with this U1 here. Shoulder bits, and then some stuff for the chest area and the sides of the head. Trying to organize these as I pull them out of the bags so that we can save time in a minute when I go to alphabetize them into the box. So here's our V runner. It's in this grayish, lighter version of the inner frame color. Looks like the inner frame for the head, as well as some shoulder bits. It goes here with this V2. So we'll put those out of the way. This is the H runner, more inner frame. I'll put it here under G. This is one of those bags that's harder to pull open. We've got some very bright green transparent parts in here. Looks like cameras for the weapons, and then I have no idea what these cone-shaped pointy things are here. All right, so that's the Y2 runner. And then we've got K2, which is definitely the missile pod from the Curios Gundam. And an H2 as well. So we'll stick that here. I'm running out of space on my desk to organize these things. And we still have more to go. Our 2 yellow bits. The X2 runner there. More parts for those missile pods. And more of the guns. So this goes with this. Little piece of flexible tubing. Toss that back in the box for now. We won't need that for quite a long time. All right, here's our D runner. It's a standard Exia runner for sure. Same with the B runner. So now with that, we can go A, B, C, and D, and set those off to the side up there. All right, here is, yeah, this thing comes with all of the weapons because this is a standard Exia weapon. Right, this blade part right here is definitely just a standard Exia weapon. That's J2. And then here's our transparent parts for the GN drive and the stand that you can optionally use to place the GN drive when it's not inside of the mobile suit. That's all standard stuff that came with Exia as well. I think it came with all the versions of the Exia. Definitely came with the version I built. Here's another blade, W2. And then this is the standard Exia inner frame, I believe. It's the E runner and the F runner. So we'll stick these here in our pile of A through F. And one more bag of runners. Another one of these very bright green transparent runners, Y1 to go with Y2. And then these are weapon parts that are, at least this one is definitely weapon parts that are new for this kit. X1 runner, and then we've got the H1 runner here. So let's grab, this can go with H2 over here. The only other thing in the box, just so that you've seen it, is this sheet of water slide decals. So that's nice to get water slides as you typically do with P-Bandai kits. We do have some foil stickers for the back sides of the some of the clear parts that go on the knees and arms. And then back behind here is the standard translucent parts that go in to all of the 00 kits. So I'm going to leave this off to the side. We're not going to use that for this snap build anyway. And then here is our instruction book. So before we get too far here, I'm going to organize these runners. Here's our A through F. They're going to go in the box. And then over here we have G, H, J, and we'll put J2 with that as well. We also have these, so as is typical with P-Bandai kits, this is a G runner, but this one is also, it's a G1 and G2. So slightly confusing, just because it uses runners from other kits. We've got T and U, and some V's. That one's X. This one's W. All right. And then we'll just throw these little random ones off to the side here in the box. And then our one runner of polycaps, which I always just keep off to the side because I know I'm gonna need them at random times. All right, here we go. I'm gonna drop this in here, and it's probably gonna be too much for the camera to see, but this is our stack of runners. And I'm gonna move it off to the side here. All right, I think we're finally ready to start. Sorry that I had to include the unboxing there. I just hadn't had time ahead of time that I normally would to get that all set. All right, quick look through the instructions. We've got quite a few unused parts, as you'd expect. A couple there, a lot here on the B runner, a lot here on this D runner, and so on. Yeah, like this dark gray H runner, it's mostly unused parts. So we are gonna end up with a lot of parts left over when we're done, which is fine. Here's a good picture of all of the different weapons that we get with this thing. So Gean hammer, which is interesting. We do get the regular Gean swords and short and long blades like we'd get with an Exia, and the shields as well. We get these missiles, which we would get from, or which came with the Kyrios. We get the beam pistols that came with Dynamis, and then a couple of new things, right? This Proto-Gean launcher and the bazooka, I believe, and maybe the Proto-Gean sword as well, are new for this Astrea Type F. Cool. You can correct me if I was wrong on any of those points. Leave a comment or something. I am not an expert on the Astrea and all of its loadout. All right, so head unit looks like chest and head are first, then some arms, legs. It's a pretty standard build, I think, especially if you've built an Exia before. It looks very similar to that. Now would probably be a good time for me to say that I'm still waiting and hoping for a 2.0 version of an Exia that's built on that's based on the new inner frame that they made for Dynamis, Kyrios, and Virtue. But alas, we have yet to see one of those. All right, and here's all the new weapons. So unlike most master grade kits, we have about, I don't know, 4 pages of actual building for the weapons at the end, which is nice. Since it has so many things. And then here's the decal sheet on the back of the instructions. Yep, looks good. All right, and we will start with, I'm just gonna go in order of the instructions. So we're gonna start with the GN drive, and then the chest unit and the head. Maybe we can get all of those done today. I'm gonna grab a drink of water before we get going here. All right. And I am all set. Let's go. This is still so weird to me to see these parts, like these GN drive parts, for example, that I've only ever seen in the kind of the standard gray that they use for inner frames. They're in this very weird tan color. Yeah, it's different for sure. I do not believe that I have one of the official LED units that is made to fit into this GN drive. Well, I have some, but they're in other kits that are already built. I don't believe that I have one available to grab right now to put in here. So we'll build this GN drive without any sort of lighting inside of it. That should be fine. This music track has like weird background noises that sound like somebody's like moving pots and pans around, or I don't know, some sort of weird sounds. So if you're hearing those, that's actually on the music. It's not happening here where I am. I had forgotten that these GN drive pieces are undergated, which is really good actually. Prevents you from having to sand nub marks on these curved outer surfaces of these cylindrical pieces. All right, so that's standard. This thing twists so that it can hit the switch on that LED unit if you've got it in there. And the instructions show how to put that in. Like I said, I just don't have one here with me at the moment. So this thing does have a GN drive that's slightly different, kind of its own version, at least sort of the back part of it here, because we do have to dig into some of these new runners, in this case the V runner, way at the back of my parts box, to get what we need for this. and also the Y runner. So we get to right off the bat use one of these very bright green clear parts. I'm not sure if you can tell the difference. I will try to show it. Yeah, you should be able to see the difference, right? So this green is the standard darkish green that you get on most of the 00 kits, and then this is our brighter green. So it is quite a bit brighter. And it's molded in that very brittle style of plastic. That whenever I trim nubs off of this kind of plastic, this kind, they fly everywhere in my room, and then I'll step on one on the wood floor later and hurt the bottom of my foot. So that'll be fun. It's going to take me a minute to memorize which runners are which colors, as is always the case with a new build. So this T runner is the special second multicolored one. I'll try to remember that the next time I need it. All right, so that fits in there like so, and then this is just the cap that goes over the top of it. So that's going to completely cover the green that was in the middle of this and just leave these 3 bits on the outside visible. I thought that the green in the middle might show through somewhere, but it does not. And now we get to see our first part that's in this red color. That's the main base color for the mobile suit. Be careful with these 2 nubs here. They're in an unfortunate place. They'll almost certainly leave something behind, but could be cleaned up later pretty easily, it looks like. All right, let's drop this in here. That looks really nice. Doesn't feel like it's in straight. There we go. Yeah, so you've got the dark red and then the lighter red on the outside, and enough of the grayish color showing up in the ring there in between the 2. That's cool. For this build, I flipped my building mat surface back over It's dark gray on the other side, and I flipped it over to the light gray side. The thought was that it would look better, that these red parts would look better against the lighter background. It looks like on my camera preview so far that that is the case. So I think that was a good choice. But as always, let me know if something doesn't look clear or is hard to see, and I will try to make adjustments accordingly. All right, so these are just kind of the covers that go over these three parts here. Like so. The one on the bottom is slightly different shape from the two that are up top there. And also, doesn't seem like it wants to slide in. There it goes. Yeah, so that's nice. It's one of the better shaped sort of backsides of a GN drive that I've seen, I think. And now, without having our LED unit to put in here, we will just put this together like so. So as is standard, you could put two in here. So you could put one in this back half of the GN drive, which would light up through these green areas back on the back side of the mobile suit. And then you could put a second LED unit here in the front, which would light through here and then probably light up through the chest once we see this inserted in the right spot there in the chest. Looks like a tiny rocket. Just missing a nose cone. All right, I'm gonna leave this up here this way for the moment. Turn it that way. And up next is the chest unit so that we have a place to put that. This looks to be a pretty standard build. This chest section, what I mean is that it looks to be basically the same as what you get with the regular Exia kit. I'm just kind of looking forward through the instructions, and I don't see it using any parts from any of our special runners. It's mostly just using these G&H runner parts for the inner frame, and then A, B, and C for the armor bits. I am going to go ahead and just cut out, I think, all of the parts that I'm going to need from this G runner. Still freaking me out that this thing is this tannish color. It goes well with the red though. The tan inner frame looks good with the red armor, so that's good. So it looks like this is the piece that goes on the front of the chest. This is the style that has the cutout so that the light that does transmit through the front of this GN drive is actually going to be masked, and just this sort of rectangular cutout here is what's going to show through. So there won't be a lot of light if you do put a lighting unit in. There won't be a lot of light coming out the front of the chest. Okay, I think that those are all the parts that I'm going to need off of the G runner. We'll go ahead and trim those down now, and then grab the other parts off of other runners as we run across them, because it looks like this section, at least the first part of the chest section here, is going to be mostly just these G runner parts. It's getting super warm in my build area already this morning. It's a warm time of year in the part of the world where I live, but it seems like it's unseasonably warm the last couple of days. I was working yesterday on a 3D printing project. I have a resin 3D printer and it's out in my garage. And it was getting so hot out there, just the ambient room temperature, because it's not a climate controlled area. It was so hot out there that I was testing out some new resin, trying to dial in exposure settings to get it just right for a print that I'm working on, and I just had to give up because the temperature was so high that I started getting warnings from my 3D printer that the prints were probably going to fail just because the ambient temperature was too high. All right, let's see how far we can get with just these parts. So these are shoulder joints. Let's grab the other side first. And the instructions, as is typical with 00 kits, have the holographic parts listed here. So it wants us to slot these two, there we are in the camera, it wants us to slot these two holographic parts in the sides of the chest inner frame. I am not going to do that. I typically do not include the holographic parts when I'm doing just a snap build of one of these kind of kits, because I want to leave them untouched in the packaging as long as possible, and then sometime in the future after painting, when I go to reassemble it, I will get them out and install them then. So typically they would go in the sides here, but we're not going to do that today. So there's the front of his chest with that little sort of side-to-side bend that we get. I've always found it interesting that they built the neck and the ball joint for the attachment of the head straight into this part. I think on every other master grade kit I've built, that's a separate bit that you put together and attach. But for whatever reason, they just molded it straight in. All right, we're gonna grab the pilot figure. Which weirdly, because with the original Exia, this would have been a white runner. But here it's red because of the red armor, so our pilot figure is molded in red. We have a standing figure as well that's molded in red. I don't know if this is even the correct pilot figure. I don't know who pilots the Astrea. But this pilot figure is definitely Setsuna. And that may or may not be correct. I am going to... This is going to be hard to fit in here, so I'm going to grab my favorite tool, a toothpick. Just to help place this and line it up and get it pushed into the right spot here. I thought that would work. You know, what's actually happened is there's a little bit of a mold defect, a little bit of flash right in there, which I can clear out from the reverse side here. There. That should solve it. I can't ever remember having this much trouble. Having built a couple other Exias, I don't remember having this much trouble getting this pilot placed in here. There we go. Finally. All right, there he is. And like I said, it's probably not even the right pilot anyway, so perfect. Then we can slide the front and the back halves of the chest unit together. All right, and then we just build the waist joint, but we need a polycap for that. This big one here. Let's see, it probably matters which way the front goes here. Yeah. So this is the front. Nope, that's backwards. This is the front. Yep, that looks correct. So we got this little bit of front and back motion there. We got this little bit of side to side motion in the center part of the chest there. Something's catching there. I hear it clicking as I try to turn it. There we go. That's better. Yeah, so just like the original Exia, there's not a lot of articulation in the torso area itself. Definitely, the mold definitely shows its age, I would say. All right, so we're gonna grab probably U and V. These are extremely tiny parts. I think they are the little clips that fold in to hold the G and drive in place. Which on every other 00 kit that I've built so far, which has been a lot of them, these clips are quite a lot larger usually. So I wonder if the GN drive is not going to want to stay in place with these small things trying to hold it in. We'll see in a minute here, I think. I should have, while I had this U runner out, grabbed 2 more parts. So we'll go back here real quick and get them. They are number 2 and 3. This dark gray plastic that came off of that T-runner that I just had in my hand is interesting because it, I think, is a different shade of gray than any of the others. Let's double check. Yeah, it is. So this is a different shade of gray than exists anywhere else in the kit. And it looks like it's only for a few little details, maybe mostly on the chest. So that's interesting. One thing I did like a lot about the original Exia mold, the camera probably doesn't show it, but this little clear part that goes on the front of the chest, they actually molded on the back side of this clear plastic the celestial being designation, so that when you do light it up through that slit in the inner the armor of the inner frame there, it shows up nicely, and you don't have to use, I think they used clear stickers on some of the other later 00 kits to try to accomplish the same sort of effect. But that's the only one I've seen where it's molded into the back side of the plastic. All right, so we clip these 2 little clips. Oh, you know what? I'm missing a very small part off of the B runner that goes, it's this little vent part that goes up at the top of the back, right behind the head. All right, there we go. So now we can put these very small clips in place. Yeah, and the little hinged area that they connect to here is also quite small. They're gonna have to snap on. Yeah, like so. They do fit nice and tight, which is good, given that they're so small, and I was afraid that they were going to not be able to hold the G and drive in place. So it does look like this tight fit is going to help, because moving them back and forth does require a little bit of force. So they should hopefully stay in place. All right, so we get that, and then we put this right over the top of there. Then we can turn around to the front part of the chest and put together the things that go here. Other way. It wants me to snap this on here first. Don't know that it matters, but we'll do it. I'm always afraid of leaving a fingerprint on one of these clear parts and then covering it up such that it's hard to clean off later. All right, so there's the front of the chest. Quite a lot of that tan inner frame color is showing through, more than I was expecting. And then up here, let's see if I can point with this toothpick. So there's a little indentation right here, and then another one up here, and then you're meant to grab one of the holographic parts, and it actually curls up, so it comes out the back of this, curls up, and goes into there to produce a little sort of ribbon effect. Again, I'm not going to do that right now, because I'm going to save those holographic parts for later on, when I build this thing after painting it. But we can now put the G and drive in place. So it slides in like that. Yeah, and again, those if you did put those holographic parts in, they would be coming out of this space right here, and then curling up into the back above the shoulders here. So yeah, I think that would be a cool effect. And then once that's in place, we can slide these two little tabs in place here to hold it. And they actually do seem like they're going to hold it just perfectly fine. So my concern about that being loose is not a valid concern, so that's cool. I mentioned earlier that I was working on a 3D printing project yesterday afternoon and it was too hot. This morning, it had cooled off enough in my garage that I restarted that print that was failing yesterday. And probably, given the time that has passed, it's probably almost done printing at this point. It's been printing while I've been building here. So when I'm finished, I'm gonna get to go out and see if it failed or not. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, but also a little bit nervous about it. All right, so this guy is using the standard Astrea parts for the sides of this lower part of the torso. And I remember that these snap on with a big snap. Or at least always have for me on other Asteas. There it goes. And then it has a new part of its own for the front of this lower torso armor here. There we go. It's actually a quite nice looking torso. I like it. Up next are the bits that go here on the shoulder joints, which always adds some nice bulk to this design. So let's grab those. So far, these are all just the standard Exia parts that would go here on these shoulders. I can't find what I'm looking for here. 22. Now it looks like I get to move back to the back of my parts box to grab some of the newer runners. So I need T and Y. Right, so these clear parts off this Y runner are very small, and I'm going to try my very best to not lose them. There's actually another part on this runner that we'll use at some point, I assume in the future, that is even smaller. Yeah, so this is a little, there's actually some detail printed in here. You probably can't see it, but there's a few little sort of vent lines running along that part. You know, I just realized I am reasonably sure that I did not change the title of the stream before I started this one. And so there's probably a good chance here that this is wrong, right? Let me just take a break for a second and do that. All right, hopefully that updates correctly. Don't want to claim I'm still building the, whatever it was, the Ale Calamity, I guess it was, that we built last. When we are obviously building something different, very, very different. All right, back to this. Fitting those is always a little bit tricky. This hinge part and how the chest vent piece fits onto it. All right, let's see. Is it this side or is it the other side? It is the other side. Yep, that fits better. So that goes there, and then the very tiny vent piece goes in this way. And again, we'll use our toothpick to try to press that into place without damaging the plastic. Yeah, that looks good. I don't know if you can see the green down in there, but there it is. All right, let's go ahead and put this one, it goes on this side, so we slide this here, and then we need the top half, which is this side. All right, one more of these tiny pieces that I hopefully didn't lose, and I didn't. All right, and there is the chest unit almost done. We have one final little embellishment to add, and it's these fins that go above the shoulders. So for those, we need this little dark gray detail part. Again, this is that shade of dark gray that doesn't appear to exist anywhere else in the kit. And then we need this long fin piece. Didn't mention at the beginning of the stream today, but I am streaming on a different day than I had ever planned to. Thursday was typically not going to be a stream day. It was going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Today is Thursday, last time I checked. And I'm thinking that this might actually end up being a standard thing. I might stream on Thursday instead of Friday. This week it worked out better just because of my family's schedule. It's been a little unusual all week long. And so this worked out better for today, but I think going forward I might continue to do this stream on Thursday instead of Friday, for a couple different reasons, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. So next week there's a good chance that stream will be Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday instead of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that might continue that way into the future as well. All right, so with those added, and we do get this dark gray detail here on the vents and then up here on these shoulder fins, sort of to bring it all together, and then down here on the cockpit hatch as well. Cool. So that I think finishes up the chest unit. Now that I see it all built together, the different shades and colors, I do really like actually the tannish colored inner frame. So that has grown on me just through the course of this morning. I'm gonna grab a drink of water real quick. All right, so heads are next. I say heads, multiple, because it looks like from the instructions here, we have maybe the ability to build multiple heads, but more likely just four different variations. So there's the Type F with and without the mask, and then there's an F2 type with and without a mask. We will, I think, explore and at least take a look at all four different variants as I build them here, as I build the head, and then I will make a determination on which one I like best to keep. We probably need this as well. It'll be on the next page of the instructions. Yeah, we'll just wait till we get there. Let me do these for now. This base part of the head here is the same, it looks like, for all the variants. So we'll get this done, and then we'll cut out the different parts for the variants after I turn the page of the instructions. All right, again, you'd normally apply stickers for the eyes, but I'm going to skip that. That was a little bit small and fiddly to get it fit in the side of the head there correctly. And of course I'm missing a polycap that's going to be important to be able to actually put this onto the neck joint. So let's grab that. Okay, that seems like it's going to work better. Now we don't have this big gap in the bottom of the head. So these are not the standard Exia parts for the sides of the head, the armor on the sides of the head. So it is a slight variation. It's a similar style for sure, but it is slightly different shaped. These had some tricky nub placement as far as being able to trim them cleanly. All right, so these sides of the head go on. These look to be also part of the sort of base head style. We haven't gotten to any instructions yet that are talking about variants. So same with this part that goes on the back here. Like so. All right, now I'm gonna be super careful with this one. This is a really wide nub. And we wanna just follow the edge of that fin, that angle. So that we don't change the shape of that at all as we're cutting it. I left a tiny bit of extra plastic there, which is good because I can always sand it flat and make it perfect later on. All right, so these are the giant bunny ears that go on the sides here. And they have this nice part that kind of fits into this groove in the back of the head as well, to add some extra dimension to it, so that's cool. All right, now we get to choose. We can build the Type F head, either with or without the mask. I'm gonna grab all the parts we need, and then we'll look at the two variants. There are going to be a lot of pretty small parts here in this group of parts that I'm cutting. So this is a transparent gray, dark gray, black, almost like a transparent black. Which is actually the same color that I'm resin printing that project in. So it is not a Gundam related project though, but transparent black resin looks really cool when you print it. I've learned yesterday. If only I could get it to print what I'm trying to print without it warping. But again, I think that was just the heat problem in my garage. So hopefully we get that resolved today since it's a little cooler. I'm not sure why I cut that part out. I didn't need it. Hopefully my future self will be able to find it. Because I'm sure we will need it at some point. Let's see, I'm in U, this is the U2 runner. I do need this bit here. Should have gotten the V-fin while I was here. This is a really small V-fin compared to the size of the head. Alright, then the part that goes on the top of the head is the one from Astrea. So this is exactly the same as the Astrea part. And then we need this part right here. Need to swap out the blade in this hobby knife. It is old at this point and not too terribly useful anymore. All right. So we start with this. This goes in like so. This is the with mask version. So this reddish part here is the mask, and I need to trim the nub over here just a little bit more because it's, yeah, causing a fit issue. All right, so that goes in like that, and then we put the smaller version of this in there. Like that. Top of the head is easy enough. It goes the other way around. Like so. And these go in the sides here. Like that. And then this piece fits in like this. So it's like a clear, darkened visor. He's got sunglasses. And then the little V-fin goes up top. So this here is the Type F head with the mask. I don't believe that the V-fin is in all the way here. It seems a little loose. There it goes. And that would work better if I put it on the right way. Oh, it was the right way. All right, so there he is. With the mask part. If we want to change it to without the mask, we have to take quite a bit of off here. So we have to take these side bits off so that we can get the chin part off, the mask part down here. There we go. So we start over like this, and we put this piece here instead. So he's got a more normal Gundam looking head with some of the inner frame showing around the outside, and then this white bit goes in here. Yeah, and then these go on the sides as we had before. So that's our Type F head without the mask. Definitely looks more standard. I kind of like the mask, actually. It's interesting. So let's see what the Type F2 head looks like. Looks like it definitely has an expanded version of a V-fin. Otherwise, it's pretty similar. So I'll take the V-fin off. And we're gonna need to take these two side parts off again. So that we can get to this. Take that off. So this requires a slightly different small V-fin, which then gets a couple of extended parts added to it. And those extension parts, weirdly, are yellow. And they were the only thing on that runner. So we got an entire runner just for these two light yellow parts that extend the length of the V-fin. So those snap on there. Like that. And now, let's see. Well, we know what the version without the mask looks like. The face is just, it's this face here. So I'm going to build the version with the mask because I think that that's how I'm going to leave it now, having seen the variations. I think that what I want to have is this version here with the mask and also with this extended V-fin. I don't like the yellow coloring, but of course that can be changed. And then we put this V-fin up here. All right, so this is the Type F2 head with the mask, and the only difference without the mask is that the pointy chin comes off and the clear visor, and this goes on instead. So yeah, for me, I think this is my favorite. And for what I'm imagining for the future of this kit to be, once I get it painted and stuff, I think that this style is going to look the best. Again, I'm not crazy about the color of the yellow extensions there on the V-fin, but I can always change the color of that later. So we'll set those off to the side. and go ahead and attach this as the head we're going to use. This part on the top of the head really doesn't want to stay. And I'm sure that if I trim, there's a nub underneath here. If I trim it better, I'm sure that that fit will improve for sure. So it's not something I'm concerned about. Yeah, especially with the dark gray kind of accents around on the chest. I think that this dark clear visor looks really nice. There was a little speck of dust on it, so I wanted to clean that off. So that's what he looks like. That top of the head part wanting to come off again. These are a little interesting. These fins kind of interfere with, or, you know, they're similar but slightly different angle to the fins on the side of the head, the big ears. So I'm not sure that those are my favorite idea to add here. From the front it looks nice, but from the side it's a little strange. Yeah, just first impression. So I might remove those or do something to modify them a little bit in my final version of this build. But that's where we are for today. And I think that's where I'm going to end the build for today as well. But before we go, I wanted to try one more new thing. Just to see if it works. So I have the ability now to show a web page with the gunplaygallery.com website loaded. So if you're not familiar with this, it's a website that I actually built and that I maintain, where people can post photos of their builds. And so these are recent ones that have been posted. And we have a build of the week section where we award the build that gets the most likes and views each week. So there's some really nice builds if you want to scroll through here and check them out. You can always click on one and see the full-length post that somebody created, which, you know, can have pictures and text and whatever else they want to include talking about their build. So some people just post a simple photo gallery, and others, like this one here, share a lot of information about the build and maybe the paints they used and so on. But also at Gunplay Gallery, there's a kit catalog, so we can click over here and go to kits. And this is a searchable catalog of kits, so we can find the Astrea that I'm currently building. Possibly. It's a P-Bandai kit, so we know, I know I have to filter it here to show exclusive releases as well, right? So here's the thing we're building. And you can get information about the kit as well here. And then down here at the bottom, if anybody had built it, we would see builds that people have posted on Gunplay Gallery of this kit. Instead, let's go over here. We can go to builds and we can search as well for Astrea. Yeah, so no one has posted a build of an Astrea of any grade or variety on the site yet. So after I finish building this one, I'll definitely take some photos and post it. Just to give you an example, here's Sazabi. Right, so lots of people like to build and customize Sazabis, and so we get there's a SD version as well. Mostly it's going to be the RG or the master grade, obviously, in this list. But anyway, it's fun to when you start a build to jump over here to Gunplay Gallery and search for it, just to see if anybody else has already built it, so that you can get some ideas of stuff to build. So we could look at Exia, for example, since we're building the Astrea, which is sort of a variant. And we can see what versions or, what customs people have created for the regular Exia. Looks like some perfect grades in here and some master grades and a couple high grades as well. So anyway, if you build Gunpla, check this out. Next time you finish a build, take some photos and post them here. They're easy. It's easy to do. You just sign up for a free account and walk through the process to upload your photos and post them. If you run into any questions or problems about that, you can always get in touch with me here or on Twitter or Instagram. I'm Gunpla Mark everywhere. So you can find me there and ask if you run into any issues or you have questions. Other than that, we are, I think, done for today with this. I'm going to leave it in this state until the next build, which will probably be Monday morning, my time. So it'll be a few days. But I'm looking forward to continuing with this. I wasn't sure that I'd like the all red outer armor, but it's growing on me for sure as we build it. So yeah, seems cool. And hope you have a good day, and I will see you next time.